Hello, I'm Paula Daniele from Crochet Hooks You, and this is my pretty crochet beanie pattern that I'll be showing you how to make today. So if you know how to do the chain stitch, slip stitch, double crochet stitch and single crochet stitch, then you'll have no problems making this pattern. The materials required for this project are one skein or ball of Red Heart with Love yarn, and I'm using the colour Lilac, and this is a medium worsted weight yarn, category 4. Now the second yarn that we'll be using is Red Heart Kids in the colour of Playful, and this is also a medium worsted weight yarn, category 4. So with those yarns we'll be using a 6.5mm hook. You'll need your craft scissors and your yarn needle. To get started we'll be using the lilac yarn. So leave a good amount of tail because you'll be needing that later on. Now just make a slip knot. And then with your 6.5mm hook, just pop that through there. And now we're going to chain 5. We'll make 5 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to pop our hook into this first chain stitch here under both of those top loops, and we'll be making a slip stitch to form a ring. So there's our ring there. Now for round 1, we'll start off with a chain 2, 1, 2, and this chain 2 counts as 1 double crochet stitch, and any chain 2 that you make during this pattern will count as 1 double crochet stitch. So now we're going to be doing 15 double crochet stitches into this ring, and as we go along we'll be crocheting over the tail. So here's our first double crochet stitch, and you can see I have the tail over the hook there. That's how we're crocheting it into the work as we go. So there's 1 double crochet stitch. So wanting to do 15 of those into this ring. There's 2. There's 3. And I'll let you continue on until you have 15 double crochet stitches, and I'll meet you around here. So now I've got my 15 double crochet stitches into the ring, and now we're going to join into the top of this chain 2. So you can see there's the first chain stitch we made, and there's the second chain stitch. So that is the chain 2 that we're going to join into. And you're going to pop the hook under both loops of that chain 2 and make a slip stitch to join the round. So at the end of round 1 you'll have 16 stitches because you've got 15 double crochet stitches and your chain 2 counts as 1 stitch, which brings it up to 16 stitches. Now at this point you can grab your little tail at the end here and just give it a little pull, and that will pull the center tight. Now later on what we'll do is we'll use a yarn needle and weave that in around there, and that'll completely pull that tight so that you have no hole. So for round 2 we'll start off with a chain 2. 1, 2. So 2 chain stitches. It counts as 1 double crochet stitch. And now we'll be starting a repetitive sequence. And the repetitive sequence is 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch here, and then 1 double crochet stitch into the next stitch. So let's do that. So here's our first double crochet into the next stitch, and into that same stitch there we'll make our second double crochet. Now moving on to the next one here, just 1 double crochet into that stitch. So basically that's your repetitive sequence, and you'll do that right around until the last stitch. So once again the sequence is 2 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, continuing right around up until this stitch here, and then I'll show you what to do with the last stitch. I'm up towards the end of round 2 with 1 stitch left to go. Now into that last stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet stitches. So here's our first double crochet, and into the same stitch do a second double crochet. And if you're wondering why it's done that way, if you look at here, see that's counted as 1 stitch, then you've got 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it continues right around in that fashion. So you 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you're back to the beginning where there is a 1. So that's how you want it to be. Okay, so now we're up to joining into the chain 2, and there's our first chain and there's our second one. So we want to pop into that chain 2, or the second chain stitch, and we're hopping under both of those loops like that, and then we're making our slip stitch to join this round. So at the end of round 2 you'll have 24 stitches, and when you're counting whether you have 24 stitches, when you do your stitch count, remember that the chain 2 does count as 1 stitch. Okay, for round 3 we'll start off with a chain 2. 1, 2. Now we'll be starting a repetitive sequence, and the repetitive sequence for round 3 is 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So that's what we're doing on this round, right around. So this next stitch here, pop our first double crochet stitch into there. Into the same, we're going to do a second double crochet. Into the next stitch, do 1 double crochet. Into the next stitch, 1 double crochet. So you're going to repeat that right around. So 2 double crochet stitches into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, 1 double crochet into the next stitch, repeating that sequence